What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Deontay Wilder and his Dent, okay? And the accusations and the quote-unquote evidence that people claim that they have about a dent. Now, I just seen a picture that revealed Deontay Wilder's swelling. Okay, I've seen it 100 times along with the bleeding. This is without the bleeding, okay? You've seen swelling. And shout out to Showbiz the Adult for giving a side-by-side comparison of Deontay Wilder and his swelling pattern, okay, in his head. The way it started to swell because of his jawline and his temple area. And that was right in front of his ear area. So it was in this area right here, okay, where this took place, you know, this swelling. Now, the comparison, unfortunately, is Max Dadashev, which was a fighter that was that died in 2019. Okay, it was an elimination bout, and they stopped it in the 11th round. And you can see the side-by-side comparison as you guys are watching right now of how these two looked and the similarities of these two. And in fact, if you look at Dadashev's side on the right, you can see the swelling right above the ear. That's because you're taking punches in that area. And the swelling represents inflammation. The inflammation represents bleeding, okay? Now, if you look to the left, you see Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder's swelling, you see where his pattern is. It's actually worse, okay? So it was more advanced at that time. And this is, I don't know, this might have been the 5th, maybe the 6th round. Dadashev, I don't know what round this picture was taken to the right, but this is, do you see the similarities of how they looked, okay? Of how the swelling pattern looked. And Wilder's swelling had actually ascended up to his temple area, okay? Do you see that? Up right where his fade line is, that area is swelling, and it was going to only get worse. That was the left side. Where Fury was landing those right hands, he was behind the ear, top of the ear, on the side of the face, okay, right where the swelling was. So if that was the target pattern on this, and this is where he was mostly catching Wilder, because if you think about how Wilder uses his defense, he brings it up here. So that brings it that you can attack each sides of his face, okay? That's what happened with Wilder. There was no dent in his head. There was no fucking autopsy, which is retarded anyway. You know, his brother should have just shut up about that ridiculous statement. And the term that he used was just ludicrous, okay? Now, again, it's not the best analogy because Max Dadashev is no longer with us, but it's a correct one. You know, it brings you awareness of what's going on. And it shows a warning to, hey, this could happen to anybody, even Wilder. While Wilder's sitting around talking about, I want to die in the ring and I want a body in the ring and all that shit, he just really don't understand what he had and what he was blessed by. He was blessed because somebody was smart enough to see, hey, there was swelling, like his former trainer said, there was swelling around his ear area, and I didn't know how severe it was, so I stopped it. I didn't give a fuck about what JDs wanted me to do. I did what I wanted to do, and I did what I had to do to save this man's life. He could have fired me at the end of the day, but guess what? Mark Breland, he told himself that I am not in heart a yes man. Okay, because he's more than likely, all the years of experience that he saw, hey, this is serious. You can't keep getting hit in a place that's already bleeding like that because you don't know if it's going to hit an artery in your head. There's many, okay? And you have to think about the time they stopped it. They stopped him in the 11th, Max Dadashev's fight. Buddy McGirt did that, by the way. And Mark Breland stopped it in the 7th. So imagine if this shit would have went to the 11th. Deontay Wilder's head could have been swole out there and he might have not have covered it. The same thing could have happened to him if the same amount of rounds of getting beat like that. Wilder was not going. He's admitted himself, I had no legs. If you had no legs, you got no power. So if you have no power, how the fuck can you win the fight? And Tay Jones himself has came out and said on my interview, hey, you know what? Now that I think about it, I'm glad the fight was stopped. Okay? That's it. Look, now that I look back at it. Okay, so if you agree with that, why is your friend persecuting Mark Breland for doing his job to stop things like this from happening? Okay, this is serious. This is life and death. This ain't winner or loser. Okay, yeah, you got a winner or a loser, but the loser goes home and the winner goes home. But if you die, nobody goes home. You might go home. It ain't the kind of home you talking about or you thinking about. So a lot of people, this just goes to show you a lot of people are not really even thankful for the blessings that they have. And if Wilder believed all that bullshit that he said he believed because all these channels concocted it up, his friends and bullshit little minions around him came to his attention and he ate all that shit up, he should have knew. Well, Mark Breland did right by stopping the fight. He did right by stopping the fight. If I was drugged and something was wrong with me, I had no business being in that ring in the first place. Counterpunch. Okay? So again, you look at this comparison of side by side, and Wilder's looks worse because you can see where the swelling up under the loaf, where the loaf of the bottom of the ear ends, it's starting to swell. Okay? And maybe if he didn't have a beard, because Dadashev don't have a beard, but again, his wasn't even that bad yet. Wilder's fortunate to be alive because of the bleeding he sustained. And I don't want to hear no cocky, arrogant shit like I'm a savage. No. You're just fortunate that it didn't hit something that caused your life to expire. Okay? And that's the gist of it. So as far as people talking about Mark Breland and he's wrong for saying certain things about that, no. And it is even people all on the other side of the street that believe, yo, Mark did the right thing. Because nobody wants to end his life. And I know a lot of people just talk about certain fighters because they know and they see the views and the value of it. But look, in this case, this is serious. This is no, oh, well, Tyson Fury cheated. No, listen, the guy was getting beat up. They stopped the fight. He got knocked down twice. His legs wasn't under him. He was bleeding profusely. He wasn't really fighting back effectively. Okay? So what else do you expect a trainer to do? A trainer that knows what he's doing. See, if it was up to JD's people, Wilder's ass would have probably been dead right now. He would have been 6 foot under. And then, you know, JD's will still be looking at little silly ass look he has on his face all the time. Looking stupid. Because he should have done something. And then, see, the problem is, here's the blessing. The blessing is the fact that none of that happened. But because it didn't happen, no one sees the seriousness of it. See, when you prevent a certain thing from happening, a lot of people won't care because they never saw the danger they was actually ever in. This is one of those situations. So you have someone ignorant to the fact of knowing, yo, I was in danger. I almost got fucked up. I almost died. They'll never see that because a person with an ego and arrogance, that's why arrogance is probably the worst mental hang-up that a person could have. Because they'll never see where they possibly could have been. Counterpunch. But anyway, I was just dropping this down to you. You guys tell me what you think about this side-by-side comparison between these two fighters. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.